Well, good afternoon, everyone. And from those on the West Coast, good morning. I'm here with the astounding Lacy Durham, who was just elected Chair of Civil Rights and Social Justice. Today, we're going to learn a little bit about what she has upcoming this year and a little bit about who Lacy is as well. My name is Mario Sullivan. I am the Chair-elect for Civil Rights and Social Justice, so I'm looking forward to following the esteemed Lacy Durham in her year. And I've also been a past chair of the Young Lawyers Division and do many things throughout the ABA. Enough about me, though. Let's talk a little bit about Lacy. Lacy, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, everyone. I am Lacy Durham, and I am here in Dallas, Texas. I'm super excited to be assuming this role of chair of the Civil Rights and Social Justice section. By way of background, I am a practicing in-house benefit counsel. My primary legal responsibility is providing strategic advice for the company's retirement, health, and welfare plans, as well as oversight over deferred comp and equity plans and related mergers and acquisition issues. So anything related to our most precious resource that are our people, I handle it on a day-to-day basis. I've been with my current company in-house at Constellation Energy for about 2 years. And before joining Constellation, I worked at Deloitte Tax for nearly 15 years, serving as a subject matter expert and trusted business advisor for advising clients on the same thing, all aspects of total reward. And before that, I worked at the U.S. Department of Labor. Again, I'm super excited to be here with you today and share a little bit more about who I am so you can get the chance to know me and what we hope to accomplish this year in the section.
Great. Wow. A lot of great positions that you had over the years and work there, which none of that actually relates to civil rights and social justice. So what brought you to civil rights and social justice?
So thank you for outing me, Mario. That is true. I am a tax attorney specializing in ERISA by background. I will have to say that what brought me to the section, A, is my love for the ABA, and B, is the fundamental principle that I feel an incredible sense and obligation to be the voice for people who are otherwise voiceless. And I think it's one of the reasons why I decided to become a lawyer. Unfortunately, I didn't find that early in my career to be a civil rights lawyer, but I really take what I do seriously. I believe in doing what you love every day and loving what you do every day. And so for me, operating in a pro bono capacity or in a volunteer capacity and elevating issues around civil rights and social justice is very rewarding to me. And I get to see an everyday impact on how it changes and transforms lives. I also got a great introduction into the wonderful service that this section does through the ABA. Prior to coming over to the section, I really cut my teeth in the Young Lawyers Division. Having graduated law school, I didn't really have a network. I didn't have the forethought to think about a national network. And so I found my way to the ABA through the YLD, through a scholars program. Now it's called the Leadership Academy, where I had the opportunity to really learn firsthand how not only the ABA Young Lawyers Division worked, but also the greater ABA. And what I found in the ABA was that it was a home for every professional. There was some type of subject matter or practice alignment, or even just to fulfill the need of your civic duties of volunteerism within the ABA. And so by having those opportunities as a scholar in the Young Lawyers Division, it really gave me the exposure to think about other ways in which I can serve.
That's fantastic. Speaking of the roles in the ABA, what else do you have going on in the ABA besides chairing civil rights and social justice?
Now, that's a loaded question, Mario. I mentioned that I started in the Young Lawyers Division as a scholar, held a lot of roles in the Young Lawyers Division, and ultimately ascended to chair of the Young Lawyers Division as well in 2015, 2016. And so I will say that that was one of the proudest moments of my life to be the voice of 180 plus thousand young lawyers at the time and achieve so many things and really I think that experience really fueled my desire to work with other volunteers, lawyer volunteers across the country, and figure out how each of us could collectively use our treasure time and talent to do good and advance the profession. Since that time in the YLD, I have gone on to participate as an active member in the business law section, participating in several committees and activities there, including being a business law fellow. I'm also a member of the tax section and have done tons of programmings with the tax section. I also really love the work that the commissions of the ABA do. I have served as a commissioner on the Commission on Lawyers Assistance Programs. In that capacity, I really had the opportunity to take an initiative that I did fit to practice when I was the YLD chair and continue some work. It was not lost on me that young lawyers and lawyers of color had different needs in terms of some of the challenges of the profession. And so I love serving on the Commission on Lawyers Assistance Commission. I also was a commissioner on the Commission on Women in the Profession. And so that time there, I spent some time working on the Women of Color Toolkit. It feels like it was eons ago, but I'm proud that that work is still going on today. I've served on the Commission on Youth at Risk, as well as currently the Commission on Racial and Ethnic Diversity currently. Besides my work on commissions, I've been very involved not only with sections and commissions, but also involved in some of the other ABA initiatives that have been extremely important. I guess I would say, you know, in summary, there's not an area of the ABA that I haven't touched. Currently, right now, I represent the great state of Texas in the House of Delegates. I've also served on several committees for the House, including the Tellers Committee, and currently I am back on the Select Committee. I've served as Vice Chair of the Select Committee. And so my work throughout the ABA is very varied.
Yep, it's definitely a wide range of experiences and roles that you bring to the section, which brings a lot of experience for you to get your year started. So I know we both want to thank Robin for a fantastic year and everything she's done for the section this past year. But we'd also like to talk a little bit about what you have planned ahead for us this bar year.
Ooh, well, how exciting. Thank you for that. And again, I echo those sentiments. Chair Robin Runge had a fantastic year and really set the stage for us to continue a lot of great work. I am super excited about this year. I think now is the time for us to really shine as the conscience of the ABA. This year, we're coming with the theme of advancing civil rights and social justice, a call to action. And what I hope to achieve is through our collective efforts, we really aim to forge paths forward for a brighter future. I want to acknowledge, you know, the struggles of the past, but also this year really amplify the voices of the present and really endeavor to shape a more equitable and just world for the future generations. I believe as lawyers, we are mandated to be introspective this year and to really take action and evaluate ourselves as well as continue to really undergird ourselves to fight the overall fight for justice and equality. In order to do that, in order to answer that call for action, as you can imagine, it is a monumental year with an election going on, with so many civil rights and social justice issues continuing to be at the forefront. And so one of the things that I hope that we can do that I am calling our ABCs is just get back to basics within the section. And that's really focusing on attracting more members and diverse professionals, diversity in terms of the geographic and practice area, whether it's solo individuals at corporations or large law firms, academia, as well as just practitioners who are passionate about this area. I also hope, and I'll talk about it a little bit more later in some of the signature initiatives, that we really take this time this year to develop people as leaders and great practitioners, particularly those who are committed to civil rights and social justice. Nothing beats being in camaraderie with people who are like-minded and people who are willing to fight the same causes that you do. The B of this is really, I hope that we are on a journey this year to build. Not only building better practitioners and building up aspiring lawyers, but also building our brand in the community. I believe that this section does an incredible amount of work, a lot of it which I want the rest of the world to know. So it's building consensus with partnership, building our brand, in the communities in which we live, work, and play. And so hopefully we'll be able to do that through a couple of different means by increasing our social media presence, bringing on new members that can share the good message, as well as just continuing to highlight the things that we do. The C of this is really connecting. I am hyper focused on connecting lawyers to opportunities and to other leaders in the profession through mentoring and development and building strategic partnerships and collaboration across the ABA and with the community as well. I think that now the time calls for that. And so you will note that this year we're going to continue some strategic partnerships with other sections, forums, and divisions. We have a lot of great things lined up with state and local government, SEER, the Young Lawyers Division, et cetera, the Senior Lawyers Division. And so just being in connectivity with people and making sure that we also do the same out in the general public as well. And so hopefully that strategy will continue to be our North Star in the years going forward to continue to elevate our profile. And finally, I guess the rounding out the alphabet soup here is really determining the next steps. I am so lucky that I have known you for quite some time and you are coming next in succession. And so continue to partnership with the chair line, with our council and our membership to determine what are the priorities of the section and really take heed to that to ensure that our section continues to be the conscious and the voice of the ABA going forward. So that's just a little bit of background about, what some of the goals are. And just tying back to our theme, advancing civil rights and social justice, this call to action, it is a loud and bold call. And now more than ever, we have so many important things to do. And I can't wait to share with you about some of the programming that we're going to have this year.
That's fantastic. No, I love this theme. And as you said, we have known each other for a very long time, and working together has been something I've always wanted to do over the years that I've known you. And so I do look forward to all the great projects that we have going on for the next 2 years and hopefully carrying on in the future after we're both done with our chair years. Did you want to talk a little bit about some of the projects that we have queued up for your year, and then I will be continuing on into the next year?
Absolutely. And so one of the things that, one of the issue areas that we absolutely have to continue to tackle this year and be at the forefront is all around perfecting democracy, awareness, advocacy, and advancing policy. It is so important these days. When we talk about advancing democracy, it's not lost on us that in many ways, democracy is under attack. There's no shortage of civil rights and social justice issues and civil liberties that are currently being threatened to be taken away. And so we have some robust programming this year to really dive into those issues. One of the things that we can't ignore is the election that's going on and our responsibility to safeguard elections, to protect the integrity of them, to make sure that every voter who is eligible has that right to vote. And so we have some programming coming up as early as October, again, in partnership and collaboration with the state and local government section, the Young Lawyers Division, in the form of a virtual summit. Our specific topics in this particular program is really around navigating the dangerous waters of election law and AI. We can't ignore that technology has completely changed the way that we operate every day. Technology is here to stay. It is evolving so rampantly. And so in this program, we're going to be talking about, with these widely accessible artificial intelligence tools, with the advances in social media, how to really identify and curtail misinformation, how to protect the integrity of elections, and really call to action. This is where we all jump in and we have a part, lawyers and those legal professionals, to really step in and do their part. Can we be poll watchers, poll workers? Are we adhering to our duty of really pushing out adequate information that has been factually verified to people? And so I'm super excited about the things that we're going to continue to do around perfecting democracy. There is a wide range of things that falls under this programming. And we're going to, hit it heavy until the election. But I'm going to submit to you that after the election, safeguarding democracy cannot stop after the election. We have a responsibility always to safeguard that democratic process. And so there's some programming around that in the spring. There's also going to be some programming around that in the fall as well. Another issue area that I am happy to be elevating, I think it's always been around and we've always done great work around it, but I think now more than ever, with the changing environmental landscape, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the importance of awareness, advocacy, and advancing policy in the realm of environmental justice. Right now, it's just crucial that we keep an eye toward this, particularly around addressing some of the deep-rooted civil rights and social justice issues that arise when we talk about environmental justice, particularly with marginalized communities disproportionately bearing the burden of a lot of environmental hazards. We know that our efforts are essential in really illuminating the intersection between environmental harm and social inequality. We've seen over the years some of the challenges that have been there with regards to rampant pollution, areas where there's unclean water. And when you look at where those vulnerable populations are, it's hard not to see the civil rights and social justice issues that are there, particularly when it impacts mostly low-income communities or communities of color. And so we want to continue to expand that conversation and talk about other issues such as toxic waste and how climate change affects weather. I mean, here in Texas, we have enjoyed more near triple-digit numbers than I care to realize or care to even have again. It makes me want to go somewhere else more cooler. But the reality of it is that these issues are at the forefront, and we need to be cognizant by raising awareness and advocating to bring attention to them, and really working together with the public to mobilize people and support them to demand change in certain areas. And so I'm really hoping through some strategic advocacy and awareness that we'll be able to do so. We have great partnership already aligned with the section on environmental and energy resources, SEER. To that end, and to our collaboration theme this year, we're going to be partnering with them in an environmental justice symposium in Washington, D.C., where we continue to elevate not only the work of our civil rights or environmental justice committee, but also our task force and in partnership with SEER. And so that conference is going to be hosted at Howard University along the lines of November the 14th and 15th. I'm excited because we also get a chance to do what we do and interact with the public at that conference the day before on the 14th. There is a public service component where we will have the opportunity to get in front of students and educate them about what some of those issues are and how it impacts them on a day-to-day basis. And so I'm really looking forward to, that programming as well. I want to also talk about probably the most impactful project and initiative that's very near and dear to me. And I'm so glad that you're coming in succession. And it's one of the things that we're partnering so closely on together. And it's really the Civil Rights Bootcamp that's going to occur in the spring. It is meant to be a multi-year, multi-day virtual program focusing on all the different areas of what it truly means to be a civil rights attorney or a social justice advocate. You threw the question over to me earlier. It's like, how did I get involved in this? And this is the boot camp. This is the training that I wish I had have known before I started doing this work. For me, it was hard work. And so I jumped in full steam ahead. But I do believe had I had a little bit of foundation and knew truly some of the foundational steps, I would be much better at the work that I do in this area. And so through this boot camp, we really are thinking about being future focused and training that next generation. And I really want us to also demystify what a civil rights attorney looks like, right? I think sometimes there is this stigma that civil rights lawyers are only those individuals who are, fighting police brutality or those type of injustices. And please hear me very well. Those type of civil rights attorneys are of the respected, the utmost for me. We need more people in that, but the spectrum of civil rights law and the types of attorneys and practitioners that we need are vast. Civil rights issues cross everything. We just talked about environmental justice, education issues, there is a complete laundry list of civil rights attorneys and social justice advocates in different areas that we need. And I really hope that we can expose, educate, and engineer that next generation of lawyers who will really help carry the mantle forward on this type of work. Some of the topics that we plan to cover really include how do you build a civil rights practice? What does that look like? How do you go find your clients? Do your clients find you? What does it take to be competent? Is CLE enough? How do you connect with other civil rights attorneys to get the mentorship that you need? How do you deal with the emotional and mental well-being aspect of this? Listen, Mario, compassion fatigue is very real. The work that we do in this area, because it affects people in their everyday lives, it can be very overwhelming, even to civil rights professionals. And so, how do you deal with that? We also want to tackle issues like how do you survive? How do you pay your bills? What does success look like? How do you build a practice or get into this area at different stages of your career? And so we're hoping to certainly attract law students and young lawyers, but as a GP solo, what does a practice look like? How is that different from someone who is in or a small town versus somebody who is at big law? And so all of those issues we hope to at least introduce and tackle. And again, the great thing about this is it's going to be a continuation into next year. And so we can cover a broad range of topics. I know I've talked a lot about some of the issues that we are going to tackle here, but again, I think all of these issues, perfecting democracy, environmental justice advocacy, as well as training the next generation of civil rights lawyers are so critically important. And if not now, then when? And so we're going to take the charge, answer the call to action, and forge ahead.
Fantastic programs. And I know that anybody who's interested can find those on our website and check out our emails. And these programs are open to everybody. And please share, post, tweet, do a TikTok, whatever it may be. Get our programming out there and in front of those who it's important to and who want to get involved in the types of programs and civil rights and social justice works that we're doing here in this section. Lacy, I'm looking forward to supporting all these programs with you, helping develop them, and then expanding them even more to next year, because these will be, unfortunately, issues that we'll have to continue to address as we continue to go on. That's all the questions I have for you today. Are there any final words or anything else you'd like to leave our viewers with?
Sure. So I'll leave just a few more nuggets here. Because of this work, I do want to let people know our additional standing meetings that we will be having this year. And of course, all of this information will be on our website. Our council meetings will continue on as planned. I mentioned our virtual summit, as well as our environmental justice summit. We do aim to meet in person. I'm really ecstatic about this, and it's going to tie right into one of our theme. Our spring meeting, again, is going to be in collaboration with a couple of other sections, but we do plan to go to San Juan, Puerto Rico. There, we're going to address and talk about some of the civil rights and social justice issues there. You know, I mentioned that because this falls in line. I said earlier that our Perfecting Democracy focus and the projects and initiatives around that will continue post-election. And this is one of the areas where it's right. It's no secret that there have been some challenges in Puerto Rico, civil rights infractions and issues that may include the government's use of force against protesters, police officers allegedly going unpunished for violence at demonstration, or some of the more relevant or widely broadcasted issues such as discrimination related to LGBTQI plus people, in the limited access to housing, discrimination from people of Afro descent there. So there are plenty of civil rights issues in Puerto Rico, not even to mention some of their political civil rights issues, because individuals there don't have the same voting rights as we do here on the mainland in the United States. And so all of those civil rights and social justice issues, we plan on being in Puerto Rico with our friends there, highlighting some of those issues and figuring out ways how we can move things forward. We're also going to be, have our routine fall meeting as well as our mid-year meeting, but also rounding out our annual meeting in Toronto. I also would be remiss if I did not mention some of our highly prestigious honors and awards for this year. The Father Dryden Award. I was fortunate enough to make the announcement at the annual meeting. This year, the Father Dryden recipient will be none other than Richard A. Soden. We will award this to him posthumously. He was a longtime pillar of the section, our budget officer, and we want to make sure that we honor him for his legacy and his rich work that he's done for the section. And I'm also looking forward to the Thurgood Marshall Award. Applications are open now for that. And so I really encourage everybody to go take a look at the website, see what it is that you're interested in. I welcome anyone who is passionate about the work that we do. There is room enough for additional volunteers. We have 20 committees, several different other initiatives that we prop up and that we staff and support. And so I really encourage people to figure out what you're passionate about and come over to the section. And there's plenty of work to do. Find out what it is that you're passionate about. Give us a buzz, and I'm happy to put you in contact. And I'm looking forward to having a fantastic year. We have wonderful staff, a great officers, and a great council to support, along with hundreds of additional volunteers. And so I'm looking forward to a fantastic year.
Thanks, Lacy. Yeah, there's definitely a role for everybody in our section. I'm looking forward to your year, and thank you for taking on the reins and deciding to chair this section and bringing us into the future here.
Thank you so much, Mario. I look forward to it. Don't hesitate, anyone, to reach out if you have any additional questions or insight.